maybe you should go check it out because there is a portrait of Sandra Day O'Connor that is there. And I will admit, I didn't know much about Sandra Day O'Connor other than that she was the first woman on the Supreme Court. And that's pretty much all I knew about her until I read the book, of course. And so, what else can we learn about her that's important, especially when you're visiting DC?
Yeah, I'd love to touch on what's inside the Supreme Court, Sandra Day O'Connor's life, and also how we approach this chapter. I think all three are important. There is a beautiful portrait of Justice O'Connor hanging in the Supreme Court right on the main floor that visitors can see. It's pretty accessible. But behind that, there's almost an entire exhibit for her as well that is a bit hidden. If you're just going in and out of the Supreme Court, you could miss it. So you really have to go in there with the intention of finding this. There's a bust of her head. There's all different photos of her with various presidents and dignitaries. It's quite remarkable, and I think it is one of the places in the city that does show respect to women's history in a very tangible way. So I would encourage people to go and explore that. To your point, I also did not know much about Justice O'Connor, and she was a first, and that's an extraordinary accomplishment. But also, when we share women's history, we're always kind of questioning how much emphasis we want to put on the first, right? Because at that point, there were several other women who had followed in her footsteps. And, just because you're the first doesn't mean you might have the biggest legacy, or you might not have accomplished so much. Like there's so many factors, right? In this situation, I think her legacy as being the first really is something that all judges and justices and American people should look back on and reflect with. If you read the chapter, there's a few different things in there. I started off being very direct with statistics and numbers to kind of start grounded, right? To give this a level of perspective as to what it meant to be the first. So let me just give you a few numbers here. Prior to Justice O'Connor being confirmed to the court, we as a country went through 191 years with all men serving on the court, 191 consecutive years. And in that time, we saw 101 male justices. So she's really stepping into a system here and showing up in a way that, of course, there's going to be a lot of weight to carry with that and responsibility. While it's a great accomplishment for her to serve, and as well as the other female justices to follow, you'd have to write this chapter and recognize how hard it was for her to get there. And I think that this story is often told through Ruth Bader Ginsburg's perspective, but Sandra Day O'Connor had gone through the same exact thing. And at this time, another statistic I put in here was just 2% of students in law school were women. And when they were coming out, the discrimination was unbelievable. I mean, and blatant, like, we're not going to hire you because you're a woman and you need to go take care of the kids. You want to make money, go sell baked goods. Like, that is what we're talking about. So it's the persistence and the perseverance that I think is so remarkable from her, like, a career judicial perspective, right? But when I think about Supreme Court justices, right, it's like they're in a black robe. It's very official. This is the highest court of the land. It's a lifetime term. I mean, this is no joke, right? And what we try to do with these stories is make it approachable. So I didn't want Sandra Day O'Connor to be someone that was distant from us. I really wanted her to be a relatable character, because as I was reading her, I was like, I didn't know this. Oh my gosh, she's so cool. How neat. And I wanted the reader to feel that. So as you go deeper into the conversation, into the chapter, there's a few fun little like ditties about her. For one is, she's a mother. She's raising children. She had to take time off from work to bring up her kids and then make the decision to go back, which is something that we are still working with in society and trying to figure out. And then I found this one kicker that, like, you have to put in the chapter, right? And it's this reference to Julia Childs and how the justice used to use her recipes to cook. And we also have a chapter about Julia Child. So that just seemed really, really relevant. And when we were writing this chapter, we wanted to kind of do an overview of different Supreme Court justices, or we wanted to just really paint it in a way that felt relatable and like you kind of understood what the position was. And Justice O'Connor was really the best way to highlight that and share that message.
It's worth saying that